This is Leave Your Mark. I'm Vince Cortese, and today's guest is Mark Trella. He's the president of I Love You More, the Michael Trella Foundation, dedicated to honoring the legacy of his late teenage son, Michael, who has passed away suddenly, a devoted husband to Sue Ellen and a father of four. Mark channels his family love and resilience into making a meaningful impact through his foundation. He's my guest here today.
Hi there, and welcome. Now it's time for America's favorite podcast, Leave Your Mark, with your host, Vince Cortese.
If it's fly, loose fitted, it's Cortese. If freezing, chubbers in it, it's Cortese.
Leave Your Mark is about inspiring the world, one guest at a time.
Pass the word from Brooklyn to Pittsburgh, from urban to suburb, it's Cortese, you heard?
And here is our host, Vince Cortese.
Thanks for having me, Vince. Really appreciate you putting me in this opportunity to talk to you a little bit.
Well, you got to bring on the Italian fellas from the Beaver Valley. We got to stick together.
We tried to, right? No doubt about it.
Right. We niched down because we could have said Pittsburgh boys, but we went Beaver Valley and brought it down on them.
Right.
I'm really excited to have you on here because you're doing some incredible things through a very sad situation of your son passing. And I want to get that to in a minute, but I want to share with the people a little bit about Mark Trella and who he is. You're born and raised in Monaca. You come from a tight-knit Italian family, and you are married and a father of four children. You have four boys, Matthew, Nicholas, Anthony, and Michael. And we find out that you're a football player and a basketball player at Monaca. So share with me a little bit real quick what life was like in that window.
Growing up in Beaver County and Monaca and in that area, I had a great childhood, right? I mean, the friends that I built those days, all the way through grade school, through high school, are still my friends to this day, and we stay very tight. What I really enjoyed about growing up in that time period, in that era, was my playground was Monaca. Like, I could go anywhere. Like, I think about my kids today and how restricted they were growing up. Growing up back then, you got on your bike and you knew to be home when the whistle went off. That was it, summertime. You had to be back for dinner. And if you weren't, you were in trouble, right? But it was just a great time, great people. Everyone looked out for everyone. My parents were my parents, but I felt like I had like multiple moms and dads that were always looking out for us. So I can't say enough with the traditions, the Italian side also, my dad's Polish, but, just having family close to me and having the opportunity to grow with family and friends in that era, in that time, in that place is just, it was the best experience I could have possibly had.
Yeah, I shared that myself. That was a good time and a good era. Now, you graduate from Monaca and you're off to school. You go to University of Pittsburgh and you take up exercise physiology. What attracted you to that major?
Well, essentially, my goal was to get into physical therapy school initially. It was a very difficult process and probably wasn't as focused as I needed to be at that age and in college. But exercise science was a great undergrad to lead into physical therapy. So I kind of took that path. And at the end of it, when there wasn't an opportunity to get in, or I knew that I wasn't going to be able to, I applied but wasn't getting accepted. That's when I turned my direction to nursing at that point in time.
Now, you come out and you get a nursing degree at Duquesne. And you hit the ground running with UPMC and you go in as an RN. You work there for 3 years, but that's the beginning of a full-blown medical career that goes on.
Yes.
Now, you're off and running. So I mentioned Sue Ellen earlier. I got to ask, when did you meet her and what was that like?
So I met Sue Ellen actually through one of my best friends. Who was dating her sister at the time, Jeff Catanza, right? Big name down in the Monaca area as well. He was dating her sister, Lisa, and they introduced us. It was in 92, I believe, when we met. And our first date was at a pirate game, and then I took her to a wedding because I needed an and one. So she teases me to this day that like I was your and one, you know. Um, but that's how we met. And oddly enough, we were married in '95 prior to Jeff and Lisa, who then got married a couple years later. So my best friend is now one of my brother-in-laws, which is kind of neat.
What is the number one thing holding you back from living the life you deserve to live? If you can master one mindset shift in the next 90 days to change your life, what would it be? When it comes to personal development, what resonates with you most? If I created a free training that would help you transform your mindset fast, which topic excites you most? If you'd like to get the answer to any of these questions, click the link below and take a short 5-question survey to see where your mindset currently stands. Now, so you marry her, and then now you guys have 4 boys, so there's some family planning going on there. So, what's life like as you're raising a family?
Well, my father-in-law, who had 5 kids, kept telling me after the second one to stop, yeah, because it's expensive. But my wife, won that battle, and I'm glad she did. We were blessed with 4 wonderful kids, but boys are boys, uh, getting waken up in bed at the middle of the night when they're playing knee football, and the losing team had to get a swirly. So there's all this yelling and stuff in the bathroom. We come in and Michael's head's in the toilet bowl getting the swirly, and I'm like, what is going on in this house right now? I grew up with one sister, it was pretty
Oh yeah,
calm.
man, a lot of
It was just,
testosterone over there.
yeah, a lot of testosterone, and just the beauty of it was my wife really was exactly the mother of boys. Like she needed to be mother of boys. She was tough with them. She, didn't cringe when they got hurt, and she, didn't baby them. So she was able to be at home with them when they were young, and she did a wonderful job raising 4 great boys.
It's a precious time in life, for a family unit, all parties involved, mom and dad as well as the kids, and then that next window when grandchildren show up. But when you're young and you got the energy for it, and it's just the best time in the world. So now you're having a good time with you and your boys. At what time in life does Michael pass, and what is there anything leading up to it, and explain to me how it plays out?
So, no, nothing leading up to it. Michael was a healthy 15-year-old boy, played lacrosse, played some baseball all the way up until about that year, um, as well as other sports when he was young. Um, Very engaged with his friends, had a lot of friends, a lot of good relationships, and more than I even realized. And what I found out after Michael had passed, just how many people just loved and adored the kid. Um, he October 26th was the night prior. We were at a soccer game for my son Nick, and Michael stayed home with Anthony, looking out for his younger brother like he always did. He had lacrosse practice prior to that. Came home, he was fine. So we went to the game. We came home. He was studying downstairs, and I sat with him for a little while and said, "Hey, don't stay up too late." He was doing some of his homework. He went to bed that night, and uh, on the morning of October 27th, fortunately, it was me that went in to wake Michael up. Backstory on that was Michael was always difficult to get going in the morning to get to school.
Mm.
And he would just always had like little things he was doing. We found out later he would send jokes to his friends. That was what he did in the morning. Meanwhile, we're yelling, "You need to get on the bus. Let's go." So I went in to wake up Michael, and I found him that morning. He had passed through the night. Uh, to this day, I still hear the sirens in my head, and just the expression that seeing what I saw. Um, just fortunate that one of my kids weren't the ones that walked into the room that day, and that it wasn't my wife that walked in that room that day. So um, Michael died peacefully in his bed, in his sleep, you know, way too soon. Um, the only thing I'm blessed with was that, you know, you hear these stories of kids being abducted and taken, and Michael was with family when he passed. So that's the only piece of grace that I have to live with. But that's kind of what led up to that day, and um, that's where we are now.
Now, when that happened, so the autopsy didn't give you any more information than what you just experienced. His heart just quit beating. It doesn't sound
Yes,
like he had any sort of trauma or a seizure or anything like that. He
no,
just passed quietly in his sleep.
absolutely. And to that point, uh, having three other boys, they have been through, all of them went through rigorous follow-up appointments with Children's Hospital, stress tests where they did, my two older ones, they like injected a antiarrhythmic and looked for different types of potential things they call like Brugada syndrome that might have caused what happened to Michael. Um, and you know, they all got a clean bill of health. My youngest just finished seeing Children's Hospital. He's 20. He'll be 20 in March. He stopped. His last visit was when he turned 18. And they kind of said at this point he looks healthy and fine, and he's, you know, everything looks good. So um, it just speaks to not having any answers, and then the concern of, you know, could this happen to them or to their kids someday?
Yeah.
We didn't do any genetic testing, um, which, you know, going back, maybe we should have, but we just, you know,
Well, I mean, the idea that he just passed, it's like, I want to ask you how they handled it and they're going for therapy. Did they have any fear that they could go to sleep and not wake up like their brother did? And then also, I wanted to know how you managed moving forward after Michael's passing.
so you know, I had talked about Michael's friends and how they've been a big part of helping us cope, our family, friends of ours, um, and you know, probably more importantly is our faith. You know, initially, I know my wife struggled a little bit with that, but you know, she realized and got back to where she needed to be, and I kind of stayed focused in that direction. That, you know, there's a reason why this happens, and I got to trust in God, and as much as it hurts, and you know, it's okay to be angry. You know, what the priest said to me is, you can be mad at God. He's okay with that. So we were angry, but I stayed strong in my faith. My wife did, my kids did, and I think that's what carried us through it as well. I mean, that was a big part of it. Um, and you know, we're back at it, full blown, and we're there, and you know, we'll never forget, but we're staying strong in our faith, and maybe one day we'll know why.
The best stories are the ones you've personally experienced. This is what bad days are really good days in disguise is all about. Believing in a higher power inside of you. Available now on Audible and Amazon Kindle. Click the links below.
My wife, she's a strong girl, strong lady. She struggled, but we lost our nephew about a year prior to that,
Oh my.
and we had a built-in support system that really could empathize with our situation. Her sister Amy really, I think, was very solid in helping her get through what we were going through. And just, I think what really got us through it was family and friends, and not only that, but Michael's friends, like the kids that were close to him and tight to him. You know, they visited, they checked in on us, and that really helped us get through a
Help the
difficult
boys
time,
too, I'd
particularly my
imagine.
wife. Yeah. And
So
my wife went back to work pretty soon after that. And I think that that's, everybody has to deal with it differently, but I really think that helped her um, really kind of re-engage back into life and not get caught in one spot.
now, a tight-knit family and good support, you guys bounce back. And you're the president of I Love You More, the Michael Trella Foundation. When somebody you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure.
100%. I mean, you don't, uh, it's hard to explain like that that message there, but really if you don't feel pain, then you didn't love, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. um we were fortunate to have Michael for 15 years, unfortunate to lose him, but fortunate that he was part of our lives.
Mhm.
And those moments we'll cherish, but you never forget, and you never stop hurting. You just find a different way to manage through it. It's
Yeah, and
kind of the
as you
best
said
feedback I can
earlier
give.
too, everybody has a different way of working through that.
Yes.
There's really no rules on any of that. It's just all feelings and how you kind of carve your way through it. So now the foundation is provides financial bereavement for support for families that have lost a child. Share with me a little bit about your cause.
Yeah. So, when Michael passed, a couple of my close friends here in Moon Township really were integral in helping us get something put together for Michael, a foundation. And we really didn't have a cause, right? Because we didn't know what Michael's cause of death was, so, cancer or heart disease, or so my wife just kind of felt that um, going through this, one of the things that was important to her is knowing that if you're in this situation, you should be able to give the best um, final party for that person that you can
Mhm.
give, the best monument that you want to give them, or whatever that is, because you're never going to send them to the prom, or they're never going to drive, and they're never going to get married. So this is the best we could do for them at this point, to really give them what they deserve. And so that we made that our cause, is to help those families that may not have the means that other families have, to ensure that they can, and when they put their child to rest, that there is a marker, and they're not searching to find that gravesite. Um, and those are the stories that we hear now too, working with Children's Hospital and some other uh, organizations that are familiar with this. But that's why our cause is what it is. It was, the lack of having a diagnosis, and really focusing in on how we can help families that are in our situation.
Now, your foundation is coming into its eighth year.
Yeah.
And what I want to ask is how has your professional experience help you run this nonprofit?
So, I believe life is about, networking and learning how to identify the people that are willing to help and support your track, right? Because in sales, you're always targeting and focusing on a need, a customer need, and then trying to find a way to help that customer. And it's very similar to what we do, right? Our customers are families that have lost a child, so we go and find the best ways to support them through fundraising, through holding events. And in sales, I've done a lot of that, a lot of event planning with the customers, and dinner programs, speaker programs. So very familiar, but more importantly, it's surrounding yourself with the right people. So I have a group of board members that are just amazing, amazing people, a lot of networks, a lot of connections. Um, and were able to really kind of help me build this out, and help my family build this out. So, I think being a good coach too, and using resources. I learned that through work as well. Tapping into those appropriate resources to get your end result is so important. So that's how I was able to do it. Clearly
Now,
not me on my own, Vince. This is a
it's a
not
team.
only a board, but a Moon Township in general has been the support of this foundation and why it is where it is today.
Share with me real quick the events. I know you had a walk and run, and the one we're going to talk about is the Derby coming up, but you've had a couple other type of events as well.
Yeah, so we've held a couple Oktoberfests that have been a lot of fun and went over very well. My son Matt started doing a run. Interestingly enough, he decided he wanted to run a marathon. So a few years back, he did 27 miles, was his very first I guess undocumented marathon on the Montour Trail, and he ran 27 miles on the 27th of October for Michael. Has since ran, I think, like 6 or 7 marathons now.
Oh my.
So we do that every year, right around, that date, just in memory of Michael. And we get a wonderful turnout for that. Just people that, want to be there to support. And then, so we do that run, and and that's kind of my son's. And then we've got
I
like
want to tie in there
runs
because
and so forth, just small things.
you mentioned that the one son, so he started the run, but I'm under the impression that they're all involved in this on another level.
Yes, yeah.
So
So
share with me what their roles they're playing. Leave Your Mark is entertaining sponsorship offers for evergreen advertisement, infinite exposure and branding, 100% tax write-off, host endorsement, podcast interview, markets including local, regional, and international. To inquire, click the link below.
I have my oldest is Matthew, my second oldest is Nick, and then my youngest is Anthony. Anthony's in college, so when we have events, he's usually stuck working the events because he can't enjoy. So we have him usually bringing in other young kids that need back in high school needed hours, volunteer hours, nonprofit hours, whatnot. So he's been tasked a lot of the time to do that. My older two, Nick and Matt, just help out with the events to get people to the event. A lot of their friends now are all they're all in their mid to late 20s, so they're all coming to the events. So they just do a good job like bringing the people out. The other thing we have done, and this has kind of been one of my board members' ideas, we started what was called a Derby Club off of our Derby Day event, and it is a group of younger kids, all men, that are interested in getting involved in a nonprofit. So it's my son Matt, my son Nick, and then all their close friends who were close to our family, and they started this Derby Club that really is the idea of this is really to try and get them engaged, to start holding their own events, and to eventually kind of pass the torch in general, as I can't keep doing this for another 15 years, Vince. I feel like I'm getting tired to begin with. But that's the goal of that. So
Well, let
that's
me
how they've
ask
been
you a
involved.
question then. Where you're coming up on a 10th anniversary in about 24 months or so, where do you see the Michael Trella Foundation?
Um, so I foresee and hope that, and certainly it's not forced upon them, but I feel that my kids and their friends and some of Michael's friends who are now very involved will kind of take exception to the foundation and want to be a part of it moving forward. And I feel like that's the journey that they'll have over the next 20 years to keep the foundation alive and to keep Michael's name and what he stood for as a giving young kid alive. That's my vision.
That leads me to my final question. How would you like to leave your mark?
Um, just I just want to be known as a good father, a good husband, um, and as a father and a husband, you have your ups and downs, but I want to make sure that I'm known as that person that in the end was there to support and provide for my family and my wife, and leave somewhat of a legacy in Michael's name that will carry on beyond maybe when I'm gone someday. It's more about Michael than it is about me.
That's beautiful. Mark, I want to thank you for being here today. That is a very difficult story of which you shared, let alone to have experienced it. I commend you for your strength, and I'm grateful for you to have the support of friends and family as an incredible blessing to help you through this. So before I go, I need for you to give me the Derby Day information and your website and where we can find out more about you and Michael.
So I'll start by saying, again, Vince, thank you so much for this time. It's always hard sometimes to talk about that, but it feels good to talk about it because anytime I get to talk about Michael's a good time. If you want to know more or learn more about the foundation, www.iloveyoumorefoundation.org is where you can find it. That's something my wife always said to my kids, I love you more. So that's how that name came about. And certainly feel free to visit it. We have our big event coming up at Acrisure Stadium. Last year, there were over 600 people at the event. It's to the point now, Vince, I don't know everybody there. It's interesting. We started the SMPJ in 6 years ago, and we started with 180 people. We planned it in about less than a month, and they were wonderful, the SMPJ, to get us set up. It's a great place to hold events for 200 people. They're very accommodating, great people there. We had a great event, did it there the next year. It was like 200 plus, and we just grew out of it. And now we're at 600 plus people over the last,
Wow.
fifth year. Last year was the fifth
Just
year.
gelling.
It'll be held at Acrisure Stadium, May 3rd. It's always on Derby Day. So we live stream the races. We a lot of people want, Vince, you'll know what a chuck-a-luck wheel is. So a lot of people don't know what the chuck-a-luck wheel is. I mean, we have games, the chuck-a-luck wheels rolling. We have betting booths during the races. We live stream them. The women that do the baskets for us are unbelievable. People come and cannot believe the beautiful baskets we have. We have well over 70 baskets,
All
and then
hand
like
done?
another 15 to 20 silent auction items. So it's open bar for 5.5 hours. Food, mint juleps are rolling.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
great event. And what usually ends up happening, the last race ends and everyone's at the casino by 8 o'clock,
There you
enjoying
go.
themselves. So, and everybody gets dressed, right? So it's like you're at the race
At the
itself.
Derby.
You visit the site. There are photos on the site. You can look at the site, all the photos, and that's where you can find out
Yeah, I saw you on
how to come.
Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah, the Facebook has got a really nice promotion for what he's talking about. So go over there and check that out.
Yeah.
All
But
right,
visit
Mark.
to get tickets. Just visit the website and just there's a GiveSmart app in there to sign up and attend. But get them soon because they're going to go fast.
That's good. That's good to hear. All right, Mark. I appreciate you being here and sharing that incredible story. And much love for you and your family moving forward.
Well, thank you, Vince, and same to you and yours, and appreciate it. And if you have a chance to come down to the Derby, I would love to see you there.
It sounds like fun to me. I need to show up.
Thank you so much.
Connect with us on LinkedIn. Be our friend on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Whether jumping out the MP or jumping on the app.
You are listening to Vince Cortese. We just want you to leave your mark.
What a great episode, Mark Trella. Let's hear it for him and his family. If you enjoyed that episode, I'm sure you're going to like this next one. Wait till you hear what she went through. You won't